Hello, it's Alex here with Hyper Creative. Now you might ask, what am I doing out here in Northern Ontario on a frozen lake in the middle of winter? Well, I'm here for the Ice Follies Festival. It's a biennial festival of arts out here on frozen Lake Nipissing. It's co-presented by us, Whitewater Gallery, as well as the Near North Mobile Media Lab and Aanmitaagzi. So let's take a look at what the artists are up to. So here we are at Ice Follies with artist David Chops. So David, how is the installation going?
It's going great. Yeah, it's good to be out here on the lake.
Yeah, it's out here. It's large and in charge. So tell me a little bit about your installation and what it means to you.
Okay, so one thing I really wanted to express with this was my feeling of being surrounded by so many dangerous things, like climate change, the rising tide of global fascism, apparently in the South, very much so right now, and so many other things that could be really related to that, and the destruction it brings, and the colorlessness, like that's what the black is about, being surrounded. And even though we might not be able to avoid a lot of those consequences, we can come together instead of fighting amongst each other. And so there's going to be this rope hanging between here where people can tie a ribbon between these trees, the blue representing the sky and the snow representing the earth, which here is water, frozen water. So to be like, we're connected with nature, but we're also connected to each other, and we need to become more connected to those things now more than ever with all the things that we're facing. And so that's what I'm trying to express here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what is the best thing about being a part of Ice Follies this year so far?
Best thing is the community around it. I feel really blessed to be a part of this, like brought in, and to see so many people coming together and sharing somewhat of an experience together, and like it's a collaboration. Even though I'm over here, pretty much working on my own, get a lot of help, and it's a part of a bigger thing. And I don't know, I feel really at home here with everyone.
And what's the biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge would be the wind currently. It's very cold, but yeah, just being in this setting with winter, the coldest time of the year, that would be it, which isn't that bad, really.
That's not that bad. It could be worse. I've seen it worse at Ice Follies before.
Yeah, I bet.
Now, you're someone who was involved in Burning Man in the past.
Yeah.
So how does that compare to your experience here at Ice Follies,
It feels very familiar. Just the landscape, barren, completely flat landscape, all monotone. The playa out where Burning Man takes place, it's very similar. Also the harshness, like when it was windy and blowing snow today and I was like building stuff, it reminded me so much of being in a dust storm, like out there, where it's just like you want to just break down and cry at a certain point, because it's just, what are you doing out in this environment setting up this ridiculous stuff? It feels very familiar, and the earlier years of Burning Man, similar like community feel, like just people getting together to build art because they have to,
Great. Well, I will let you get back to setting up.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'm here with Ice Follies artist Anyse Ducharme. How are you doing? How's the installation going?
I'm doing good. It's coming along. It's cold.
One of the challenges of Ice Follies, right?
Yeah.
What's the best part about being an Ice Follies artist so far?
It's just so lovely to be able to be in a community near my own. Like, I'm from Sturgeon, and it's lovely to get to come here and get to be part of this wonderful festival. I love that it exists outside of the gallery, and it's a major collaboration, and there's just so many really interesting things happening.
And what's What's the most challenging thing that's happened so far with you?
Having to wire things without gloves.
Again, the Ice Follies challenges are there's multi. So tell me a little bit about your piece.
Yeah, it's I've made a bench, a sonic bench. It's going to speak out hashtags that folks would have left on Instagram about the lake, and it is looking out onto this just beauty of the frozen lake, and so yeah, it's an invitation for us all to sit here with the AI speaking out our hashtags.
Sounds good. I can't wait to experience it. Thank you, Anyse.
Thank you.
I'm here with Ice Follies artist Andrew Ackerman. Andrew, how are things going with the installation?
It's going well. This is the third day out for this project, and hoping to wrap it up soon, actually.
Tell me a little bit about your piece and what it means.
This piece is an environmental piece. It's about global warming. So it's the title is Fire and Flood, and so kind of referencing two of the, I guess, the most noticeable causes effects of global warming. You can kind of see that in the work itself. The outside is scorched, burnt, kind of reference fire, and inside there's a figure that's surrounded by water, so referencing flood.
What's been your biggest challenge out here on the ice so far?
Good question. Probably the cold. It's actually been a pretty good year in terms of snow conditions and the ground and the ice. So I haven't had too many problems in terms of setup. But yeah, just kind of ensuring that we stay warm and get it all done.
And you're sort of an Ice Follies alumnus because you've been here before. How does this year's festival compare with being out here before, and what's the best thing about it?
Compared to other years, I think I was just reflecting on how different the conditions are each time. And so you kind of think that you'll know what to expect, that the ground will be a certain consistency and that the temperature will be the same, but it's always different and always a little bit unpredictable. So yeah, I think this is actually, of the three times that I've contributed to Ice Follies and participated in it, this has been some of the best conditions, although it's been quite cold. Yeah, and then I think the best thing about this year has just been meeting the new artists. It's always new artists every year, and just getting to connect with them.
Yeah, it's getting the new blood in is always good.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Here we are. It's Ice Follies opening night, February 7th, 2025. Now, because it's Ice Follies and it is winter, as I mentioned, here in Northern Ontario, I'm spending a little extra time in the warmth of the car. But it's got to be done, and it will be done, and it'll be fun. So, let's go. Ice Follies. trying to stay warm with David Chops. How is it going during the opening night?
Good. It's going really good. There's like a ton of people that are coming through. People seem to really. I'm just mostly hanging out with my piece, but people seem to be really enjoying like the whole thing overall. But coming through here, reading the words I've written, taking the ribbon, tying it onto the art. I've had some very like emotional, warm words spoken to me about how this has impacted them. So huge success already.
Tell me a little bit more about that. Tell me about your interactions.
You know, what I'm trying to speak to here is something I think a lot of people, especially like with everything that's been going on with Trump down in the U.S. with the tariffs, but people are feeling the climate change thing and other pressures too. That like the internet seems to be like complete nonsense and bonkers at this point. There's a lot of looming threats and this speaks to that. And I think in ways that I think not a lot of things are speaking to that. You know, so I can. The words were coming from a place I feel like where it was like finally something is like saying like we need to come together. I know those voices exist out there, but like to come and see it in a physical representation like this, I think it can be impactful. It certainly was impactful for me to make that.
I think people are absolutely being impacted tonight. So I think in that way, it's definitely a success. Do you feel like it's a success?
I do. I'm so glad I'm getting to be here and see some of that so I can feel that.
You'll see on the walls a lot of the beautiful stories and pictures from our elders. We've been having elders luncheons at Big Medicine Studio for the past 3 years. And so some of their stories, some of their loved ones are reflected on the walls inside that ice shack. But many of these structures are also just a reflection of our loved ones, how we lived and moved around the territories. Our project, All My Rations, it's all my relations with the E and the L silent. So we've been looking at the big dream picture that our ancestors have and all our relations have passed on to us, but also exploring some of the difficulties that we have in carrying those things forward. So we're so grateful to the Whitewater Gallery and the Near North Mobile Media Lab. I believe that this is one of those dreamy projects where we get to work together, and we hope that by working together, we can help realize our dream future together.
Ice Follies opening night really was a dream. And the dream continues because the morning after, I get a call from artist David Chops saying, hey, I cut 300 lengths of ribbon to be put onto the installation for people to tie on, and they're all gone. I said there are worse problems to be had, right? Which means there are over 300 people who've already interacted with the display. So that does mean we did have to replenish the ribbons. And I said, for you, I will do this. So the ribbons arrived today. You'll see we have extra just in case we run out again. And today I cut 190 lengths of ribbon to be replenished in the box at the installation. So, and also what David didn't realize was that part of this process really speaks to my latent pyromaniac tendencies, because every length of ribbon, after it's cut, you'll see, needs to be sealed by fire at the ends. So here we go. Notice I haven't burned the place down yet. So there you have it, 190 ribbons ready to go out to the ice. Here I am back at David Chops' installation at Ice Follies 2025. The ribbons have now been replenished, so for anyone who wants to come down and interact with the sculpture, they now can. So for me, it's time to tie one on. I mean, you know what I mean. Thank you so much for joining us for Hyper Creative Episode 3, Ice Follies 2025, open until February 21st. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow us for more hyper creative content. Bye for now.